Let's talk a little bit now about the discovery of drugs and their creation. So many of the drugs that are in use today were actually originally derived from things like animals, plants, or even minerals. Nowadays, we can also have medications that have molecular or genetic origins, and we manipulate those chemistries. In this illustration, we see a picture of a plant called foxglove. I'm very fond of foxglove. I think this is a very beautiful flower. This scientific name of this plant, foxglove, is actually Digitalis innata because the flowers resemble finger-like digits. We discovered, that is, human beings discovered, that one of the chemicals in this plant had therapeutic action, and it could be used to treat congestive heart failure. That is, when the heart is unable to adequately pump enough blood around the body to maintain a person's health. This chemical was also called digitalis, and currently you can find this medication still in use in the 21st century. We call it digoxin, also known as digitalis. In this example, we see the belladonna plant. This is the original source of two different medications. Atropine, one of the emergency medications we use in case your heart or your blood pressure, that is your cardiovascular systems, have collapsed. And scopolamine, which is frequently used as a way to minimize the effects of motion illness. Here's a close-up of the poppy flower that is the actual poppy that is used for the opium. Opium is being used as a painkiller even today. And from this plant can come the illegal street drug heroin. So this is the source of both heroin and opium. And there's very little difference between heroin and opium, except because opium is made in a factory under scientific guidelines, there's more purity and there's more cleanliness to opium than there is in heroin. There can be unknown substances in heroin, and that's what makes it very, very dangerous. Opium is derived from the sap of the blue-green seeds at the heads of this pink flower. This is an example of the blue-green mold from which we get penicillin. Other examples that we can have of plants as a source of medications include colchicine, which is used to treat gout. This is derived from the autumn crocus. From the cinchona tree, we can use medications that are for malaria, and this medication is known as quinine. We get the anti-diabetic medication metformin from the French lilac plant, and of course, penicillin from this mold. Here's another example. Fungus from a sewer outlet in Sardinia can give us cephalosporins, antibiotic drugs. Here we see the leaves of the periwinkle plant. This is used for the anti-cancer medication known as vincristine. Other examples include the needles of the Pacific yew tree, which are used for the anti-cancer medication called paclitaxel. The bark of the willow tree is a source of aspirin. Rose hips, or the rounded seed of a rose plant, is a natural source of vitamin C supplements. And the red hot chili peppers, not the band, the consuming fruit, are a pepper plant, and from the pepper plant comes zostrix. The bulb of a snowdrop's flower provides us with galantamine, which is currently being used to help treat the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. There's other uses for the plants. If we're giving things like capsules or tablets, we need that active substance, the medicine, the chemicals that are going to cause the biological changes, to be suspended in something, to make the actual capsule, to make the actual tablet. And we get a lot of these from gums, oils, and other bases that are already inherent in our plants. Another source for these medications is not plants at all, but are from animal sources. And there are many different types of drugs that are derived from animal sources. Thyroid supplement medications, for example, now currently they're synthesized, and you can hear it in the word. The current medication we give for thyroid is called Synthroid, and it means that it's a synthesized version of the thyroid chemical. However, before we discovered this, we used to use actual animal thyroid gland tissue. We would dry it, desiccate it, make sure it was nice and crunchy, and then give it to the patient. And from there, they would be able to derive a percentage of the thyroid chemical that they needed to run their metabolism. The anti-tuberculosis medication known as streptomycin is from the stomach contents of chickens that are ill. A medication which is used for severe chronic pain, known as ziconidide, is a venom from a small cone snail that is found in the Philippines and the waters around the Philippine Islands. A very common medication is known as Premarin. This is known as a female hormone replacement. And the word Premarin is from a pregnant mare's urine. Now, we use this chemical, this hormone, as a way to relieve the symptoms of menopause. And during menopause, females are no longer producing adequate amounts of these hormones, and it causes changes in their bodies. And these changes can be very uncomfortable and even debilitating. By giving a supplemental hormone, that brings better quality of life and an alleviation of symptoms to that particular patient. Lastly, from the Gila monster, which is a large poisonous lizard that lives out here in the United States and Mexico, its saliva is actually a source for the medication known as ixanilide or Byetta, and it's used as a way to help a patient lose weight.